So I'm back. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Dr. Swati here. I'm hosting the session from Trainers Club, and I would like to invite Mr. Sumit Bhardwaj. Uh, Thank you so much, Mr. Sumit. Just a quick intro about Sumit that he is a very experienced trainer. He's certified NLP trainer and a master trainer of transactional analysis, and he has got a long experience of almost 10 years, and he's serving in schools, institutes, and the companies in domestic markets, and almost done around 1800 workshops in schools and corporates, of almost 4500 hours he has given in classroom and the outdoor training. And I'm sure that today he has come up with such a beautiful topic on principles of growth mindset, is definitely going to help all of our the trainers who are here to not only to personally, but also to conduct our sessions in future. Um, I'm sure, Sumit, I'm audible to you, and I would like to hand over you the session. And as we follow the discipline, the rule that everyone who have any queries, you have a raise hand option below the chat box. So you can always raise your hand. And I request Sumit that time to stop in between and take your queries. And at the end of the session also, we'll try and take the queries. So it is 90 minutes session. We'll try and finish it off on time. So yeah, so to Sumit now.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are safe and healthy. And first of all, before I start the session, I would like to thank Trainers Club and Dr. Swati and Deepa, because these are the two ladies who have been coordinating with me, and they have done a fantastic job. So on behalf of Trainers Club, I would like to, I hope I'm audible to all.
Yes, you are. Everyone is
All right.
on mute right now, so maybe I'll
Okay.
reply your question.
All right.
Yes, you are,
So,
Sumit.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Yes, you are audible, Sumit.
thank you. Thank you. And I welcome you all to this wonderful webinar on growth mindset. So in this webinar, we'll be talking about certain things that will help you grow your mindset. I'm not saying that your mindset is not grown. It's already grown up. So we are going to add on to that. Because I believe that every individual that we have, each and everybody present here and in this world, is a unique individual, and we are going to add on to that uniqueness today. And you have taken the first step towards that uniqueness and towards adding that more thing in your growth mindset. So we'll be talking about that thing. Before that, I would like to share the screen with you all so that you can have a look at the things that we are going to talk about. And okay, just a second, let me share my screen. I hope you all can see the screen now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, wonderful. So if you have any questions in between, you can, like Dr. Swati said, you can raise hand, and you can also put it in the chat box. I will have a look at them, and then I will definitely respond to them as per the best of my capability. And let's make this session interactive, which I'm pretty sure of, that all of you wonderful minds will make it really, really interactive. So the things that we'll be talking about here in this you have already known me. Dr. Swati has already introduced me. I am a trainer of NLP, which is better known as neuro-linguistic programming, and a master trainer of transactional analysis. I'm also a life coach and a public speaker. I have been training people for the past 13 years. And I'll not talk more about me now, because this webinar is not about me. This webinar is about you guys. So before further ado, I would like to take you to quickly the things that we are going to talk about today. Number one, it is always important to understand why we are here. We are here to talk about the growth mindset principles. This is the first thing. We'll be talking about the things that will help you grow your mindset, like I said before. And one thing I would like to tell you here, I'm not going to talk about anything which is rocket science. Most of the things that we'll be talking about and discussing in this session will already been known to you. I'm pretty sure about that. It's just we have to bring those things to our consciousness, bring those things to our awareness, so that we are able to apply those things, apply those principles, as well as work on them. The next thing that we are going to talk about is the ways to think positive. When we say ways to think positive, we need to understand what is positive and what is negative. So we'll be talking about that thing as well. What do we mean by the term positive and what do we mean by the term negative? We'll be talking about that thing as well. And the third thing that we will be talking about, the mantras for success. It is really, really important to learn the mantras. I'm not talking about any kind of Sanskrit thing or something here. I'm talking about the principles which will make your life easier, though it's already easy, and it's going to make it. And these mantras are going to make it easier. So I hope you all are ready to go ahead with that. All right, so before I start the session, I always start my session with a question. Why? Why are you here? Why am I here? Right? So we need to first understand this thing as to why we are here. We are here to share the knowledge, we are here to share the experience that we all carry with each other, with us. So we'll be talking about those and I'm sorry. Yeah, so let's talk about something really, really interesting. And that thing says, what's in it for me, which is WIIFM, right? So most of the things that I'll be talking about today will be related to neuro-linguistic programming, life coaching, and transactional analysis. So there are five major areas that we all have in our life, and all those five areas are equally important. So if you think that one of these areas can be skipped or can be overlooked and life will go smooth, things will not work that way. So this is the first thing that we need to understand. The success growth mindset says whatever that we are doing in life has to cater to these five major areas of our life, right? So when we talk about these five major areas, the first one is social. We all know that the man is a social animal, irrespective of the gender, right? So man or woman or male or female. So I'm taking it as a general thing. So we all are social animals and we need a society to survive. If there is nobody in this world to share our happiness, if there is nobody in this world to share our achievements, then the life will be a waste. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, that whatever that we are doing here or whatever task that we take or that we work upon should focus on the social area of our life. We are attending this webinar, right? So we'll get to know each other after or during this webinar. So this is going to increase as well as improve our relationship because we'll get to know each other. So this is covering one aspect of our life, one area of our life, which is social. So make sure that you always have this thing, this principle in your mind, that whatever that you are doing is bringing or is enhancing your social interaction. It is enhancing the social area of your life, right? The second thing, the second area of life is equally important, which is psychological. Let's take one example. Let's say you're doing something, you are working on a task, and you are psychologically not up to the mark. Here I do not mean, I'm not talking about the problem, mental problems that the people go through. I'm talking about the peace of mind as well as the emotions are in control. Let's say if you're working on something and you have a psychological imbalance here working on that particular thing, so that task which you're performing, no matter how good it is in social terms, if it is not bringing any kind of positivity, any kind of happiness, any kind of contentment to your psychological area, it's worth leaving, because it is not bringing that psychological aspect, it is not enhancing the psychological aspect of your life. So in order to do anything, in order to grow your mindset, in order to grow in life, in order to work upon something which can bring happiness, make sure that you have a psychological balance of that, right? If there is no psychological balance, if you're not psychologically happy, or if you're not on that particular thing with complete attention, things will not work. So in order to perform any task in a better way, make sure that you have the first area, which is social, as well as the second area, psychological. These two areas should be completely working upon as well as completely balanced before we move to the third one. And the third one, as we all know, that there is a say that goes, the best wealth is the health. Health is the wealth, right? So if you are a person having too much and lot of money, lot of wealth, lot of possession, a big house, big car, and you do not have the good health to enjoy it, that whole money, that possession will be of no use, because you are in a poor health, you are not in a proper health to enjoy it. So the first area was social, the second area was psychological, and the third area that we need to work upon is physical. Whatever that you are doing, make sure that thing is bringing or enhancing your physical area of life. Because if this area is missing from the other areas, or if this area is missing from the circle that we have, circle of the areas of life, then there will be a lot of problem, because you will not be able to enjoy anything in your life if you are physically unfit. Always remember that, right? So the fourth area is something which is really, really important, and that thing is financial. Yes, we need to be good at financial area as well, because most of the things that we are doing, I'm not saying everything involves money, most of the things that we do because of money, right? So it's a basic need. Without this, the survival is really, really difficult. So you go to the office, work there, and get paid for that. You do the sessions, you all are trainers, you do the session, you get paid for that. What if you do not, like you do 100 programs, or you work for 3 months or 4 months and do not get paid? It's going to bring a lot of frustration in your mind, because because that area, that financial thing, is going to help you in other areas as well. Because if there is no money, how will you buy the food? How will you work upon the other areas? You'll not be able to buy good clothes, you'll not be able to have a good food, you'll not be able to, pay the school fee, you'll not be able to pay the rents, you'll not be able to pay your bills, mobile, and the other basic things. For all those things, we need to be good at the financial level as well, because if the person is weak at the financial level, it's going to bring a lot of frustration in his mind. Always remember. So these are the first four areas. Before I talk about the fifth one, these four areas have to be clear. These four areas have to be very, very much balanced. Now, the next area that we have, that we need to be working upon, is the spiritual aspect. Right. So here I do not mean that you should be doing a lot of puja and the other things. Spirituality is different from the religiousness. Here I'm not talking about any kind of religion, I'm talking about the spirituality which is somewhere related to the peace of mind. Whatever that you are doing in your life, you should be, at the end of the day, should be happy with that. It should bring a lot of satisfaction to you. If you are dissatisfied with anything or everything that you are doing, that means you're not spiritually fulfilled. So be it anything, whatever that you are working upon, make sure that you are spiritually fulfilled. So anything that you do, always have a principle in your mind. Always remember, whatever that you are putting your hands on, make sure that you know why you are doing that. What's in it for you? The success growth mindset says, what's in it for me? What's in it for me if I attend this webinar? Right? If you ask yourself before attending any webinar or during the webinar, you will definitely get something good out of that. Because when you channelize, as well as when you command your mind to find something useful for you, your mind will start looking for that thing and will start working in that direction, and will give you something that will bring a lot of happiness as well as contentment to you. So always remember, before you do anything, make sure that all these 5 areas should be completely balanced, because if any of these areas is missing, then you will have a lot of trouble in life. I hope these areas are clear to you. So if you have any questions related to these areas, please feel free to put it in the chat box so that I can have a look and then respond to them. Okay. The next thing that we are going to talk about, one of the principles of success growth mindset, And that principle is everything that you experience today is the result of choices you have made in the past. Be it anything, whatever that is happening with you, whatever that is happening with all of us, is a result of the choice that we made in the past. Let me give you one example. Let's take the live example, not any other example. Let's talk about the live example. The live example is you all are attending this webinar. To attend this webinar, you made a choice. And whatever that you are experiencing here is a result of that particular choice that you made. Maybe today, yesterday, or day before. Whatever that happens, people always, get confused as to why something is happening with them. I didn't do anything. Why is it happening with me? People keep on asking this question. They eventually forget about the choices that they made in the past. Whatever profession that you are in right now, be it training, be it teaching, be it administration, be it managing people, or anything, that particular profession was a choice of you. Was it out of compulsion, or whether it was a choice or a chance? You still had a choice. Whether you wanted to attend this particular webinar, you had a choice. You had a choice of not attending as well. At this point of time when I'm speaking and you all are listening to me, you still have so many choices. One of the choices is you pay attention, participate in this webinar, ask question, get a lot of learning, and go and apply those learning. And the next thing is you just attend the webinar, make the notes, leave the webinar, and we forget each other. The third is you just put everything off, you just kill time. Okay, you're waiting for the webinar to get over, do not learn anything and leave. So whatever that you will be doing will be the choice, will be the best choice that you will be making. So man is not the result of his circumstances. Product. Man is not the product of his circumstances. Man is the product of his choices and his decisions. So make sure you take the right decision. And when you talk about the right decision, make sure that you are able to evaluate the choice that you make. Always remember this. Because if you are unable to evaluate the choice, it may or may not be the right choice. I'm not saying that it is always a wrong choice. It may be a right choice, it may not be a right choice. So make sure that you're able to evaluate the choice. And before that, you need to be very clear as to what kind of choices you're making. Right. So I think there is a question in between. I'm unable to see that. Okay. Now, the next success growth mindset principle is positive change comes from adding resources. Right. So when you really want to produce the positive result, you have to add more resources to that. Here, when you talk about more resources can be anything. It can be more hard work. It can be more efforts. It can be adding something which was not earlier added. Right. It can be anything. It can be something that will bring positivity as well as the desired result. Right. And we all have all the resources to succeed in life, be it at the top or be it at the bottom. We all have all the resources. I'll be talking about that too. We have all the resources to succeed as well as we have all the resources to fail, right? So make sure if you really want to bring a positive change, always add a resource that can add a value to that thing. Because if you're not adding the resources, you will get the same result, right? So let's take an example of cooking. If you cook in the same manner that you do every day, you'll have the same taste, right? Be it adding the same amount of salt, same amount of the ingredients. So if you really want to have a different kind of a taste, or you want to have it the tastier, then you'll have to add more resources to it so that your food becomes more delicious. So always remember, in order, the success growth mindset says I need to add more resources if I want to get more positive change in that. So always remember that you add more resources, right? So let's move on to the next thing, which is something very interesting. You can see a picture of a man, and then you can see a picture of the earth, the globe kind of a thing, right? So here there is a direction. There are three arrows. that talk about a map, right? So we all are map makers. The success growth mindset principle number 4 that says, what I know or what I think is not the only world. We all have a map in our mind, and that map is made up of pictures, sounds, feelings, tastes, and smells, which can be different from the other person's map, right? So whatever that I speak, whatever that I do, and however I do, whatever process that I follow, that process is related to those things only, that particular map only. That process is because of certain pictures in the mind, the process is because of certain sounds in the mind, the process is because of certain feelings in the mind, tastes in the mind, as well as the smells in the mind. So what I think is not the only word. So whatever that I know is not the only thing that exists in the world. There are things beyond that, because what I bring with me is my experience, what you bring with you is your experience. So my experience and your experience will be different. Whatever that you think will be different from the way I think, right? So my thinking is different, your thinking is different, everybody thinks differently. So we all respond according to the map that we have in the mind. So my map of world will be different from your map of the world, which is completely unique. Your map of the world is completely unique. My map of the world is completely unique. So I need to understand, in case if I deal with someone, so I need to understand that whatever that I am responding is because of my map of the world, and whatever that the other person is responding is from that person's map of the world. So therefore we need to respect each other's map of the world, because I do not know everything. The other person also does not know anything. Everything, not anything, everything. So what I think is not the only word. If I have a blocked mind that says, no, I know everything, I know it all attitude will kill you emotionally. I'm not saying physically, but yes, emotionally, it will definitely give you a lot of trouble, because you will definitely block your mind because you have this I know it all attitude. So make sure that you always respect, as well as always remember that my knowledge is limited, and the other person also has got something good to talk about, right? Okay. Now, the next principle says, my map. There is a picture, there is a lady, there is a girl, there is a boy. If you're married, then you can well relate to it. All right. So when we get into an argument, we always talk about what we have in our mind, and the other person, the opposite gender or the same gender, talks about their map. All right. So always remember, we respond to our maps of reality, not